Hi everybody, I'm Stefan for cgtatsplus.com, and in today's tutorial we are going to create a cool looking stylish broadcast background. So let's get started. I've already imported a simple Earth vector map in Cinema 4D to save some time, and now we need to extrude this and wrap it around a sphere, excuse me, to create the cool looking stylish Earth globe. So first of all, select the world map, hold down Alt, click and hold and release the extrude NURBS, release the mouse button, and it will automatically make the world map a child of the extrude NURBS. But as you can see, nothing happens so far. That's because we need to click this checkbox, because we have a hierarchy of lots of curves and shapes here. So we need to click this option for the extrude NURBS in order to be able to extrude our shape. And as you can see, what we get so far. Now we need to deform this, and I've tried some different methods for creating a extruded globe, but most of them didn't work the way I wanted. So I used the wrap modifier, deformer, excuse me, and it seems that it works best so far. And let's take it and make it a child of the extrude NURBS. And as you can see, by default it has a cylindrical shape, and we need to tweak it a bit. First of all, change the wrap type from cylindrical to spherical, and we start to get some results which doesn't look that good, and that's because we need to tweak it some more. First of all, let's change the width to something like so, and let's change the height as well, something like that. And we need to change the start to 0 in order to have a complete circle, and we need to set this to -90 and this to 90 in order to have a circle. And as you can see, the Earth doesn't look good, and that's because we actually don't have any geometry to deform. So we need to come to the extrude NURBS, go to the caps tab, let's set the caps to fillet cap and set the radius to 0.5 or 0.2, a very low radius. Click constrain and then choose quadrangles and click the regular grid, and now as you can see, it starts to look better. But of course we need to change some settings here. Set this to 1, and this will make the mesh very intense, and it is going to generate lots of polygons, but that's only if you want very smooth results. For the sake of the tutorial, I'm going to set this to 4, but for my final render for the preview I used 1. And let's see how our Earth looks like. We need to play with the radius here, probably 0.1 should fix our geometry, and it does look good. And probably we can set some like 4 subdivisions to add some edges here, and that's our earth map so far. We need to create a sphere, and we need also to move our sphere or the earth map in order to have our sphere in the center. So let's select the sphere, come to coordinates and move it 200 units on the z-axis, and now we can go to object and increase the radius of the sphere until we get something like that, and probably add more subdivisions just like so. And if we do a simple render, it looks like so. And now it's time to texture our earth. So first of all, let's create a camera. Let's zero out the position like so, and we need to select everything here and hit Alt G to group it into a new object, and come to the first frame, set a keyframe for the rotation, and go to the last frame and set this to 360. Control and click to set a keyframe, and as you can see, the result doesn't look good because the center of our rotation is not actually in the center of our earth. But we can easily fix that. Just go to axis mode and move the axis into the center, and we can do that in the top view. And I think we are ready now. Let's turn on the camera. As you can see, the earth looks good. We just need to hit Shift F3 to bring up the timeline and go to the curve editor and make the rotation linear, so we have a perfect loop. And we can see we have a perfectly looped earth. Let's stop that and start texturing it. Create a new material, and let's call this one silver, and make the core black. Turn on the reflection, add a Fresnel shader, set the mix strength to 50, and turn on blurry reflections. And this is going to take a while to render because of the blurry reflections, and we are going to apply this material on the extruded part of the earth. And let's create another material, and let's call it black, and go to the core, make it 100% black, turn on the reflection, set the reflection brightness to 1, add a Fresnel shader, set the mix strength to 25 and the boriness to 15, and close it and apply it to the other part of the earth. And now for the reflection, we need to add something to reflect, so we are going to create a sky object, and we are going to apply a HDR image on the sky, and we are going to apply a compositing tag and click scene by camera. And if we do a render, so here is our render. It takes a while to render because of the blurry reflections and ambient occlusion and everything, but that's the look we are going for. So let's hit Ctrl B to open the render settings, and let's check. As you can see, the global illumination is turned off, and we have some ambient occlusion, and I increase the contrast to get a darker kind of shadows, and there are no anti-aliasing, but you can turn it up if you want. And as you can see, I'm using the physical render instead of the standard one, because the physical render renders way faster the blurry reflections. Let's switch back to the physical render, and here as you can see, we have some settings for the quality, subdivision for the blurry reflections and stuff like that. But it's up to you which type of render you're going to use. And when we are ready with this, we're going to render it. Just choose a output for the PNG sequence and make sure you click alpha channel checkbox, so we have an alpha channel. And after we render that, we are going to jump into After Effects to composite it. Here we are in After Effects, and I've already imported our 3D sequence here and positioned it, and just scale it down a bit, and prepared a earth map. As you can see, a simple vector earth map, nothing too special, and put that into separate composition. So first of all, let's create our background, and create new solid and call it BG for background, and make it comp size. And let's go to generate ramp and apply a simple ramp, and make the ramp radial. And for the start color, we want a white color, and for the end color, I'm going to use my original color I used. And now we need to take the background and put it below everything. And now let's make a duplicate, and let's rename it and call it BG dark. And we are going to change the color to kind of a reddish color and black, dark black. And now we are going to use a transition to make kind of a stripes, and change the blending mode to classic color burn and set the opacity to 4. And as you can see, this is what we get so far. And we need to apply another transition, just a simple linear wipe, in order to cut the stripes right here. Right here maybe, and set the feather to 150 or 250, play with the settings, set this to 4, and just leave it like so, like a very subtle detail. And this is for the dark background. Now we need to create a radio waves warp, so we're going to create a new composition, 2000 by 2000 pixels, and let's go with radio waves, create a new solid, and let's go with 1 and apply a radio waves. Now let's go to the settings and change the color to dark reddish color, and change the start and end width to 50, change the frequency to 0.4 or 0.5, 0.6, and let's make a preview to see how fast our radio waves move. And I think that the default speed is okay, just need to offset this a bit. And let's set the lifespan to 5, because we want our radio waves to die before they leave our composition and reach the edges, and probably maybe 5.6. And let's duplicate the layer and just slide it a bit. And by the way, selecting the layer, holding down Alt and page up and page down will move the layer with 1 frame. And let's set this to 15, because we want thinner waves here. And now come to our main composition, select the radio waves, set them to overlay, and select our earth and just find the center of the earth and move the radio waves right into the center, and probably scale them down like 65% or so. And that's it for the radio waves. Now we need to create a vignette around the edges, so let's create a black solid and let's call it vignette. Just select the ellipse mask tool, double click, subtract it, and let's set the feather to 350 and set the blending mode to classic color burn and reduce the opacity a lot, like 15%. And finally we need to create new solid and call it OF for optical flares. Come to effect, view copilot optical flares, and let's choose one of the presets included with the plugin. Let me shrink down the window, and I think I'm going to use some of the pro presets here, and I believe I used this one originally. So this, and just color correction tint and color correction color balance, and make it like bluish, and come to blur and sharpen, fast blur, and just blur it 50 pixels or 100. Change the blending mode to add or maybe screen, because add makes everything too bright, add it here and just duplicate it and remove the fastboard. And probably we can add some wind shadows to make it just a bit darker, and we can add a color correction levels on top of that, just to give it a bit more contrast. And overall we are going to create an adjustment layer and apply levels again, just to give everything a bit more contrast. And after that we can come to noise and grain, add grain, final output, and set the intensity to 0.2 and the size to 0.1 to add a very subtle grain effect. And basically that's our broadcast background. You can animate the flare with some flickering and stuff like that. And that's it. Hope you liked this tutorial and it was useful for you. Once again, I'm Stefan for cgtutsplus.com, and we'll see you next time.